hypnosis, a genealogy website, a sketch so accurate it looked like a photograph, and one relentless best friend. Together, they helped crack a brutal murder that went unsolved for over 30 years. This week on Two Crime Newsies, we dig into the evidence and the groundbreaking DNA that finally put a killer in handcuffs. I'm Jen, and I'm sitting here with my bestie, Tina.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, my friend.
I'm really excited to be here with you.
I'm excited, too. Before we get into it, you're listening to Two Crime Newsies. I don't think I said that in our intro. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know, but I'm pumped to be here.
Listen, I think we should probably admit we've been on a break.
We took a little bit of time off. So I had a surgery on my jaw, and I told Tina I needed a little time off just to recover, and she agreed. And so today we're officially back.
But we haven't missed any weeks of episodes because of you.
We were busting them out like 2-3 times a week for a while.
Yeah, we were churning them out just so that we made sure that we had enough episodes to sustain us so that nobody had to miss a week of Two Crime Newsies.
Yes, and we want to say thank you to everybody who listens to us every single week. We love what we are doing. I walked in the door at Tina's house and it's just this like energy shift where it's just like all the worries go away and I'm like, oh, I get to hang out with my buddy.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hang out with you. We are missing one of our recording buddies today.
Yes, we are.
We lost my 15-year-old pup, Harley. So it's different.
It is.
Having just one pup here.
But I feel like this pup helps a lot with the energy.
Oh, she's got a lot of it. She brings a lot of energy.
She immediately, when I walked in the door, it's like, roll over, pet my tummy, and then we'll say her name, and she's like, what? What? You called me? I'm here. I'm here.
She does definitely put a smile on my face.
Good. I'm glad. Well, I'm super excited to get into this week's episode, but before we do, I want to give a little listener warning. I think it's necessary this week. What do you think?
Hold on, I have to think about what we're recording. Yes.
We're going to be talking about a murder in today's episode. So if you're sensitive to that or would prefer a lighter episode,
like I do.
Like Tina does, no judgment here. I suggest you scroll through our other episodes. There's a plethora of them, and put on one of those.
Anything with the word heist in the title is my favorite. The maple syrup heist, Transylvania heist.
Go Bats.
Go Bats. Happygate bourbon heist. And Jen has been so good to me lately, finding some really good heist stories. Thank you so much, my friend.
You're welcome.
And while I prefer the lighter stories that don't involve death, I do think they're important to talk about, especially the story we're going to talk about today. It's an interesting case, and interesting to see how developments in science and technology help to solve these cases.
It's fascinating, I think. It really is. Okay, so with that being said, are you ready to get into today's episode, my friend?
Missed you so much. I am so ready.
Okay, so the show we're talking about today is a cold case files episode called Genealogy Website Leads to a Killer's Confession. And when I saw the title and read through the episode description, I instantly wanted to talk about this case. And as most of you probably already know, if you've been listening to Two Crime Newsies for a while, Tina and I find DNA genealogy fascinating. I love the idea that killers and criminals are caught because they left their DNA at a crime scene. And then police departments are uploading that DNA to genealogy websites like Ancestry.com and 23andMe. And then, with all of this, investigators are able to use family trees and lineage to solve crimes that sometimes have gone decades without being solved.
That's how investigators caught Rex Heuermann, the Long Island serial killer. Hairs found on some of the victims were traced to Heuermann's family, and investigators followed Heuermann, saw him throw away a pizza he was eating, snatched it up, tested that pizza crust, found his DNA, and got a match.
It's so cool.
I know.
I find it fascinating. I want to go be a crime scene, I don't know, tech person.
I don't think I want to be a crime scene tech person. I'd love to follow them around.
Like shadow them for the day.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into today's episode. It's a cold day in January 1980 in Douglas County, Colorado. A woman drives along a one-lane road in Daniels Park. In the distance, snow-covered mountains can be seen. There's large pastures that flank both sides of the street, and snowbanks line the side of the road. It's cold outside, so cold that the heater's turned up all the way in her car, and her foster kids talk quietly amongst themselves. Now the driver looks outside her passenger window and sees what looks like a woman laying in the field. She keeps driving but knows something just isn't right. So she pulls over and stops to speak to a road worker not far away from the scene. She tells him what she saw in the field, and he immediately called police for help.
This is one of my worst fears, and we've talked about this before. How I feel compelled to be on the lookout for a body when I'm driving around a sparsely populated area like this. Mm-hmm. But now we have cell phones that we can use to call for help, which is great. This woman saw a body in a field in 1980. There were no cell phones then.
What year were you born, Tina? I'm just kidding.
There were no cell phones when I was born.
There were no cell phones when I was born either.
Mm-hmm. So,
I was born in 86. We didn't have any cell phones.
Well, I was born earlier. So there are no cell phones in 1980 when this woman sees this body in a field. What does she do? The only thing that you can do, I think, at that time, find some sort of authority figure to get help. And when Douglas County officers got to the scene, they discovered the woman was in her late teens or early 20s, and she was lying on her back. She was deceased.
The woman in the field.
Right.
Okay.
And we see some police photos from the scene. It's a photo of shoe prints in the snow. Mm-hmm. We learned there were 2 sets of footprints leading to the crime scene, but only one set, which looked like cowboy boots, leaving the scene. This tells investigators that the crime occurred there because there's evidence of the woman and the killer both walking into the field together, and evidence, or both walking into the field, and then evidence of the killer leaving.
That's creepy to think about. So both of them walked into the field. I'm assuming she did not go willingly. And then pulling up to this and seeing this, and you see the 2 feet prints and then only one exiting. Like,
Yeah.
that's just a creepy,
I know.
you know, like if you get that visual.
Kind
ooh,
of ghost-like.
Yeah. Ugh. While this is going on, police in the nearby city of Inglewood get a call that 21-year-old Helene Przinski has not been seen or heard from since the night before. Now, Helene worked as an intern at a local radio station in Inglewood. Helene, a beautiful girl with bright smile and kind, trusting eyes, was originally from Massachusetts and had moved to Colorado just 2 weeks earlier. She was living with her aunt and uncle while she finished college and interned at the radio station.
Helene had moved to Colorado in 1979, not long before she was killed. We hear from Mike Anthony, who said that on January 16th, 1980, Helene had gone to the radio station and mentioned that she was concerned about making sure she'd be able to get on her bus back home because it had started snowing that day. So she asked if she could leave early. Mark said he actually offered to drive her home, but she declined and chose to leave and take the bus around 6 p.m.
While he was talking, you could see how impacted he was, and he looked so just sad about it. Like, I wish I could have done more to get her to stay and drive her. Mm-hmm. Like, you could see it weighing on him.
Right. That if he had just been able to drive her home that day, we wouldn't be here. So Mike says he left the radio station at 6:15 that evening, just 15 minutes after Helene left. And around 8:30 or 9, he gets a phone call from Helene's aunt saying that she never arrived home, wondering if he knew where she was.
It's absolutely terrifying. I truly can't even imagine the sheer panic that was going through Helene's aunt, as well as her coworkers' minds when they got the phone call. I think it's absolutely devastating for everybody involved who knew her. And this takes us to January 17th, 1980. At 11:45 in the morning, Helene has been now missing for 18 hours. Helene's uncle got a call from a friend of his, a captain of the police department, who told him that a body of a young woman had been found in a field. He was asked to go down and see if the person who had been found was Helene. Inside, he says he knew it was Helene because she was the only missing young woman who had been reported. And he says he was sick to his stomach and didn't want to be the one who had to go identify her body. He says he drove out to the field and then walked into that snowy field with police officers. And as soon as he got up to where the woman was lying, he knew it was Helene. Later that day, the coroner discovered that Helene had been stabbed 9 times in the back, and she had also been sexually assaulted. The killer left his DNA at the scene, which detectives collected and placed in an evidence bag. Now, the show showed us some of the actual autopsy report, and I'm not going to go into it, but Helene suffered tremendously out there in that field before she was killed.
Douglas County Sheriff Tony Spurlock said it looked like a crime of passion. So the thinking here is that maybe the killer is someone she knows. The problem is that Helene really didn't know anyone in town because she had just moved there.
But turns out her aunt and uncle and her coworkers at the radio station were the only people she knew. One of the detectives who was working the case had said that Helene only had a very small sphere of interest of people she knew, and she had met them over the 2-week time at her internship.
Mike Anthony at the radio station says they broadcast a $10,000 reward asking for information from anyone who might know who killed Helene. And they kept her story in the news on the radio, hoping someone would come forward with a tip.
That's awesome that they did that.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? One of those tips ended up panning out. And we hear a lady called into the police station saying that she was driving down that road the day of Helene's murder and saw a car parked on the side of the road near where her body had been found. Now, the caller told police that she saw a man kneeling down at the rear of the car with his hazard lights on, and when she drove by him, he had looked right at her. Investigators jumped at the opportunity. I mean, this is a huge opportunity, and the woman was actually hypnotized. And under hypnosis, she was able to give a description of the suspect to a crime sketch artist. And let me tell you, we got to see the sketch on the show, and it looks exactly as if it was a picture. What did you think, Tina?
I have so many thoughts.
Give them to me, my friend.
Okay, first.
You sure do. Holy moly, your notes are excessive here. Ooh.
Okay. First, I want to say how far we've come from hypnosis resources in the 80s to DNA databases that exist today. That's awesome.
It is very awesome. The whole hypnosis thing, I have so many questions because you hear about these people who go to Vegas and get hypnotized and squawk like a chicken. You know what I mean, right? I wonder.
You wonder what?
If somebody hypnotized me, what I would end up doing.
I don't ever want to be hypnotized because of that. I can't imagine. How embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at this point in the show, I'm remembering episodes of Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm. At least I think it was Unsolved Mysteries. Maybe if I was under hypnosis, I could remember more.
Maybe let's hypnotize you.
Anyway, I remember seeing episodes where police would have a psychic come in and see if they could offer any helpful information. Do you recall seeing something like that on one of those old shows?
So I'll be honest, Unsolved Mysteries was one of those shows that sometimes I found it very interesting and other times it was downright creepy.
Yes.
It was like that Tales from the Crypt show at times. You hear the music play and you're
that music. It's still creepy.
There's bad things going to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's what hypnosis reminds me of. And from what I remember, again, I'm not under hypnosis, so I could be remembering incorrectly, but I don't remember a psychic ever having a hand in solving a case. Now, if we come to the end of this episode, because at this point in my notes, I have not gotten to the end of the episode. If we come to the end of the episode and this hypnosis thing worked, I gladly stand corrected.
Maybe I could find us an episode about that.
Oh, gosh. And I'm not
goals.
trying to make any hypnosis experts or clients angry. I'm just admitting that I'm skeptical about hypnosis as a legitimate crime-solving tool. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at some point in time, you're going to try whatever to solve that crime, you know?
You're absolutely right. That is an excellent point. And I will say this about the sketch that we see. When it popped up on the screen, I was immediately creeped out by how realistic this sketch looks.
It looks like a picture.
It does. It resembles more of a black and white photo than a sketch. And I think it's the eyes.
It's all about the eyes.
This sketch artist really did a phenomenal job at making this guy's eyes look super creepy. This man had a full head of dark hair that looks to be either parted or receding on one side of his forehead. He has a triangular shaped head, wider at the top with a pointed chin. And he has thin eyebrows, creepy, dead looking eyes.
Yeah, there was nothing in those eyes.
A narrow nose, thin lips, and I'd say a pretty thin dark mustache.
It reminded me of the Wade Wilson eyes. Remember when his girlfriend, who he had beaten up the morning of the crime, had said that he had dead eyes?
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of.
But that she could capture that in a sketch.
It's impressive.
I agree.
It's very impressive. Unfortunately, though, despite the almost photo-like sketch, no one was arrested and tied to Helene's murder. This is when we hear from Helene's best friend, Kimberly, who says that's the point where she made a promise to Helene's parents that she would not rest until they found out who did this to Helene and why she had been killed and how it happened. In the world of crime, it's often the smallest details that cost people the most, the things they didn't see coming. And when it comes to your home and auto insurance, overpaying every month without realizing it, that's a costly mistake.
That's where Quentin Brown with Shamrock Insurance comes in. Instead of locking you into one option, Quentin shops over 25 top-rated insurance carriers to find you the best coverage at the best price, so you're not left paying more than you should.
Whether you're a homeowner, driver, business owner, or even a truck driver, Shamrock Insurance has you covered.
No surprises, no wasted money, just smart protection tailored to you. So before your next bill hits like a bad plot twist, make the smart move.
Call Quentin Brown with Shamrock Insurance today at 512-337-2482 and let him shop for you. Because saving money should not be a mystery.
If you missed that number, it's 512-337-2482. We'll include it in the show notes. Don't wait. Give them a call today.
Now, this takes us all the way to January 16th, 2006. It's been almost 26 years since Helene was killed, and Kimberly, Helene's best friend, was still acting on that promise. We hear from one of the investigators who says that any time that Kimberly heard of any type of advances in DNA or in any kind of forensic science, she would pick up the phone and call their office. Kimberly was trying anything to answer the question, who killed her best friend, Helene?
I think it's just amazing. Don't you think so? That for 26 years, she's looking for ways to get answers. And not just that, she's picking up the phone and asking the police about it. She's staying on top of crime-solving technology, and I think it's just incredible. And do you know what else I think is incredible, Jen?
What was that?
That despite not being able to do much of anything with DNA in the 80s, investigators still collected it and held onto it.
And they held onto it in a way where it preserved it.
That's just amazing to me.
I also think, though, Colorado's really cold. So maybe they had that, like, one up there that...
Well, they're not keeping it outside.
That's true. That's true. Never mind. Forget I said that. Maybe I should edit that out.
Wow.
I feel like that makes me look not very smart.
Listen, we've had a break, okay? It's our first time back recording in a few weeks. We need our minds to get back into this.
I need more coffee.
Back to the story. And in 2019, 39 years after Helene's murder, it proved to be the right thing to do to hold on to this evidence. And that's when investigators took that DNA they had and used genealogy sites to create a family tree that would lead them, hopefully, to Helene's killer.
Investigators run the DNA from the crime scene through sites like Ancestry.com and 23andMe, and they're looking to see if anyone who has uploaded their DNA to any one of those sites has a relative who could be the killer. And we hear on this show that they were looking for anyone with even partial DNA matches based on centimorgans. And when I heard the word centimorgans, I was confused because despite doing several episodes where genealogy was used to track down criminals, we have never heard of the mention of centimorgans. So, what's a centimorgan, you might ask?
Is it related to Dexter Morgan?
Ooh, I like where your brain goes. It is not, but I like it. So, centimorgans, according to Mitch Morrissey of United Data Connect, is a unit used for measuring DNA. We're told that you and I may not be related at all, Tina, and in that case, we don't have any centimorgans in common. But if you and I, for instance, were sisters, we would have a high number of centimorgans in common.
Unfortunately, we do not have any common centimorgans.
We don't. I do feel like our brain works the same, though, so maybe there's a long-term linkage way back in the day. I don't know.
But investigators did find common centimorgans for the killer. They found DNA belonging to the killer's mother.
Ooh.
But there's a problem.
I feel like there's always a problem.
Yeah. The woman only had girls, and their DNA sample for the killer was of a male. But after further digging, investigators discover that the woman did, in fact, have 2 boys at one point that she gave up for adoption.
Mitch Morrissey of the United Data Connect says his genealogist and the detectives in Inglewood dug even deeper and found a newspaper article about a reunion between the woman and her son. Now, we see a newspaper on this show, and the article says, "What is Thanksgiving? Mother and son share a table after 33 years of separation." The article mentioned not only the one son who she reunited with, but that she had another son as well. Now, one of those sons was easily eliminated by police because his DNA was already in CODIS, the Combined DNA Index System, which is, as you probably found out on some of our other podcast episodes, a national database used by law enforcement across the U.S. to store and compare DNA profiles. So police and DNA experts turned to the other brother. Now, his name was Curtis Allen White.
Turns out White had a criminal history. Before Helene was killed, White had served time in prison for rape. But it happened long before authorities were collecting DNA for CODIS, which is why he wasn't in the system. We also learned that White was out of prison and in Colorado, in the area, when Helene was killed. So police think he's their guy.
So police run White's fingerprints, and we hear they come back to someone named James Curtis Clanton, who lives in Florida. And after some digging, they find out that this James Curtis Clanton fella was arrested back in 1998 for domestic battery in Palm Beach County. So, detectives asked the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department for Clanton's booking photo after his arrest. And lo and behold, remember that sketch artist sketch of the suspect who had been seen at the side of the road the day of Helene's murder? Well, when you hold the 2 pictures up side by side and compare them, they're almost identical.
The hypnosis sketch worked.
That's pretty awesome.
However, in the photo of Clanton, aka White, we see he has blonde hair and a thick blonde mustache. In the sketch, it's dark hair and a much thinner dark mustache. But I'm still pretty impressed by the side-by-side of the photo and the sketch. They do look quite similar. We see police interrogation video of Clanton where they're questioning him about Helene. In the video, Clanton has long blonde hair that falls past his shoulders, and he's still got that thick blonde mustache. We see police show him a picture of Helene and ask if he knows her. And we hear Clanton say, "No, sir, but I think I want an attorney now."
This is when we see police tell Clanton they have a warrant for his arrest and he's going to be charged with first-degree murder and kidnapping. And Clanton immediately says, "You've got the wrong guy." I feel like that's what they all say.
Yeah.
So the detective hammers down and goes, "We actually have your DNA." And that's when Clanton just starts shaking his head and says, "Oh." Clanton is arrested and then flown back in what looks like a private plane to Colorado.
We see police video of the inside of this plane, and it's terrifying to me. It looks so tiny and claustrophobic in there.
It reminded me of like a skydiving plane.
Oof.
You know, like they're little and like everybody's sardined in there.
Oh, yes, definitely sardined. The officer and Clanton look like they're just inches apart, sitting next to each other. We hear the officer question.
They were knocking knees.
Ew.
No.
I don't want to be touching his knee.
No, like when you say that, when somebody's like sitting next to you and your knees are like, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to be knocking knees with him. Ew. It's a killer. It's awful. We hear the officer question Clanton about the night of Helene's murder in the airplane. Clanton seems to have dropped his guard and starts answering questions. He says he doesn't remember exactly what he was wearing that day, but he's pretty sure he was wearing cowboy boots, which lines up with the prints that police saw that day.
In the snow.
Mm-hmm. When the officers ask what made Helene the right target, Clanton eerily says, "Fate." We learn that Clanton saw Helene get off the bus, went up to her with a knife, put his arm around her, and used her purse strap to tie her hands behind her back.
It's terrifying. Clanton tells the officer that Helene asked him what he was going to do to her, and he told her he was kidnapping her for money. He goes on to say that he didn't tell her what he was actually planning on doing to her.
The officer spent 6 hours on the plane talking to Clanton and asked if there were any other crimes that he committed, and Clanton was adamant that there wasn't any others.
Friends of Helene say that it was a relief to know that Clanton was arrested and couldn't hurt anyone else, but there was never any closure because Helene was never going to be coming back. 63-year-old Clanton pled guilty in 2020 and was sentenced to life in prison, but was eligible for parole after 20 years. This was something I did not understand. How can you be sentenced to life in prison but be eligible for parole in 20 years? And I ended up looking up a lot of things about it online, but the clearest answer I got was actually from ChatGPT, which it makes me cringe thinking about that I'm about to quote something off ChatGPT, but it was truly the only thing I could find. According to the site, even though Clanton pled guilty to first-degree murder, his sentence is governed by the laws in effect in 1980, not today's laws. So since the murder had happened in 1980, Colorado law back in 1980 allowed life with the parole eligibility after 20 years. And it doesn't make me happy to hear that, obviously, but it does help me understand why he would be eligible after serving 20 years. And the big takeaway is also that just because someone is eligible for parole, it doesn't mean they're actually going to be paroled at that time. In late 2039 is when Clanton will become eligible. And the Colorado State Parole Board will review his institutional behavior, they'll look at his psychological evaluation, they'll evaluate his risks to the public, and they'll also take into account any input from the victims' families. So it doesn't mean that he's automatically going to be walking the streets again, but it does make you think about the difference in the laws then and now.
Mm-hmm. You make really good points. And I also forget those details whenever I hear someone will be eligible for parole after a certain time. It doesn't mean they'll be granted parole. Mm-hmm. Also, this guy will be 83 around that time. And I can't imagine an 83-year-old would be roaming the streets causing chaos.
I mean, hopefully not.
I still think it's fascinating how long investigators held on to DNA evidence in this case and how Helene's friend never gave up pushing police to use new technology to try to solve the case. And I'm still floored, Jen, about the side-by-side hypnosis sketch.
It truly looked like a picture. It really did. If you can watch the episode for yourself, I highly recommend you do so. It's a cold case files show, and it's called Genealogy Website Leads to a Killer's Confession. It's incredible, the accuracy. It's very, very interesting.
Right, which means when she was under hypnosis, just imagine the information that she'd have to give the sketch artist to be able to come up with that sketch.
Yeah.
That's just, I'm still pretty much in awe about that. I think it's amazing. Really, this is just an interesting story. A great find, Jen.
Thank you, friend.
I do have one request.
What's that?
Can we do another fakes, frauds, and scammer story?
Maybe next week. You'll have to tune in then.
I'm so excited.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend. It helps us get the word out about our podcast. You can also leave us a 5-star review on any podcasting website that you listen to us at. And yeah, we really enjoy it.
I'm so happy to be back here with you.
Same, my friend. All right, everybody. We will talk to you guys again next week. Bye.